there. I just thought I'd pop in here because I am thinking of switching out my palette for some brighter colors. Mostly I wanted to switch out my yellow. So I normally use, when I nature journal and go out into the field, these four colors: quinacridone gold, quinacridone rose, French ultramarine, and moon glow, which is a combination of anthraquinoid red, viridian, and what is the third one? Ultramarine blue. And it kind of creates, I use it as my dark color, so it kind of creates it's good for grays. Whoops, there's a lot of water in there. It's good for grays, but it also, used pretty thickly, let me blot my brush out. If you just pick up mostly pigment, very little very little water, excuse me, it becomes a premixed black, or I use it as a premixed black. So I've been using those four colors. I like using quinacridone gold because it creates kind of a muted palette when I do greens and oranges. So I'll show you when I swatch these. Let me blot my brush a little. So this one's quinacridone gold, and I just put my finger in my hand in the water. Fun. And I like it because it really does create this really soft gold tint, but it's kind of like a very transparent and a slightly brighter yellow ochre, I would say. But it's a color that I like a lot, and I use it in a lot of mixes. And then I like to use quinacridone rose because I can make it a warmer red or keep it a quite violet pink. Also great mixing color. And then this is my very dirty French ultramarine. I like French ultramarine. It is really dirty. I do not keep a very clean palette. That's just, I mix a lot of colors, and I'm just happy with that. There we go. It's a little cleaner now. I tend to like how these three mix together. They make, like I said, here, I'll just mix right here. So I can get some really nice kind of muted greens, which I like a lot. I could cool that down even more if I needed to, so it becomes more like what I would consider an almost pine green, or keep it more yellow for kind of a more of a olivey green. So I like the way that works, and it's the same with when I'm mixing quinacridone gold with the quinacridone rose. This is very powerful, so I'm only going to go a little at a time. But see how the oranges, it's a very earthy orange. See, I can create almost a kind of a muted tomato red. So I like that. What I'm noticing as things are exploding this spring is that the greens, of course, are more brighter, almost more iridescent. And this is where Hansa Yellow Medium, which is these are all ones that I keep on my large palette, my studio palette. And so I find this mixes some really beautiful greens and fiery oranges, and I like how it washes out too, where it's very much like the light that I see in the spring and summertime. Very lemony almost, although this is not green. Like a lemon yellow will pull a little green. I like Hansa Yellow Medium because I can make it more like a lemon yellow, or I can make it more warm, like what they would call New Gamboge, or that kind of thing. I haven't used this in a while. This particular little, it sits in my drawer mostly. So I can make some really nice bright oranges with that. See how that's such a nice bright orange? And I can warm this up so it's a brighter red and not leaning quite as violet. So yeah, I think for the rest of this season, I'm going to replace the quinacridone gold with Hansa Yellow Medium, just so I can get brighter greens and brighter reds and brighter oranges. So here. See how the green is just much brighter. And of course I can create a cooler green. But see, it's cooler, but it's still brighter. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Okay, then the next dilemma is, I'll set that aside, is the choice between quinacridone magenta and quinacridone rose. So this is quinacridone magenta. I like how it leans a little purple. It's a beautiful color. Whereas quinacridone rose leans a little bit more red. So I like that a lot too. However, that's going to change the way things mix up. So let's see. Here's my yellow. Let's do a little bit. This stuff's so powerful. So let's just do a little bit. So again, it's going to mute. It's going to be more of muted oranges, muted reds. This kind of reminds me of alizarin crimson. Yeah, and I'm not so sure if that's what I want in my palette. Let's see what it looks like with the blue. Oh, my blue's a little dirty still, but we're going to roll with it. See, this is where I would want to keep it because, oh my gosh, it just makes the most beautiful purples and violets. Look at that. Because it's already halfway there. See, isn't that just so vibrant compared to, although the quinacridone rose also makes a pretty vibrant mix. I mean, they all do. A little bit more blue. I think I'll keep the quinacridone rose for now, just because I like the oranges better. So, yep. So that's kind of how I switch out my field palette. Like I said, I only take 3 primaries and then something I can use to kind of darken. If I need to darken this up a little bit, maybe make it more of a duller kind of a purple magenta type thing, then I can use a little bit of Moon Glow. I tend not to use Moon Glow as a black just because I work in pen, so I let my pen be the black if I need black. But yeah, I just felt I needed something brighter in my field kit. And so, yeah, and these are all colors that I also have in my big palette. They are really my workhorse colors. I mix most everything with some of these and then add and push, push things warmer, push things colder, but that's a whole other video. So I hope this is helpful when you are choosing your limited palette to take into the field. So I'm going to put these two aside. I'll revisit this as we go into the fall because these are nice autumny colors. But yeah, so Hansa Yellow Medium, Quinacridone Rose, French Ultramarine, which I like because it leans a little bit more red than regular ultramarine and it's slightly more granulating, and Moon Glow, which is a combo of Viridian Ultramarine and Anthraquinoid Red. Yeah, so that's what's going to be in my field kit for the summer. All right, hope you're having a wonderful day. Oh, and if you're around this afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm doing a live stream over on Substack. And I think what we're going to work on are, let's see, we're going to work on a flower. I'm still deciding, but I think I want it to be one of the tubular flowers. Those will be fun to draw. I'm thinking foxgloves. They haven't bloomed yet here where I live, but they will in a few weeks. So yeah, so and this is all part of a bigger theme about pollination. Last week's live stream we worked on bees and butterflies. Next week's live stream we will work on birds, and the week after that we'll work on insects. So I'm live every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Substack. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.